Breaking news! The Ravens just released their final 53-man roster, and while some changes were expected, others may leave you staring at the screen in disbelief. A fan-favorite cut, a snubbed rookie, an underdog who fought to make the team, and hidden in the details, a controversial decision that could shake up the defense sooner than you think. There's tension, surprise, and some silent warnings for veterans who thought their spot was secure. Something is brewing in Baltimore, and it starts with this roster. But before we go any further, be sure to like this if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages cheering for this team. And if you'd like, comment, "Go, Ravens," to show your love for the team. Now let's dive right into it. The Ravens released their final 53-man roster just before 8 p.m. Eastern, ahead of their Week 1 showdown with the Buffalo Bills. It's official, 2025 is here, and this team is done with the drama of the offseason. Everything from the Lamar Jackson contract saga to the tweaks in the coaching staff is now behind them. What lies ahead is a roster that John Harbaugh and Eric DeCosta believe can compete not just in the AFC North, but deep into the postseason. Let's start with the injury designations, because they already play a crucial role in how this team will line up. Adissa Isaac, the rookie edge rusher with a ton of potential, has been placed on injured reserve with a designation to return. That gives some breathing room to David Ojabo, who many thought might be on the bubble. But don't get too comfortable. When Isaac is ready to go, Ohabo's seat could get hot real fast. Then there's Emory Jones, moved to the non-football injury list, and Darius Washington, who's now on the PUP list. Good news there, as it signals steady progress from his earlier injury. At quarterback, there's zero controversy. Lamar Jackson leads the charge, and Cooper Rush officially secures the backup role. It became clear early in preseason that Rush was the safe, stable option the Ravens were missing last year. From the moment he was signed, the writing was on the wall. No drama, no competition, just depth. The running back room has size, speed, and special teams versatility. Derrick Henry will be the centerpiece, no surprise there. Justice Hill returns as the change of pace back, and Keaton Mitchell brings the explosive speed that fans love. The intriguing name here is Rasheen Ali, who made the roster largely due to his special teams contributions. Harbaugh hinted at this after the final preseason game, and he wasn't bluffing. Ali's presence means the Ravens are carrying 4 running backs, maybe at the expense of depth elsewhere, like cornerback. Still, Ali showed enough to warrant the spot. The wide receiver group might be the most straightforward unit of all. Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Devontae Walker, DeAndre Hopkins, Tylan Wallace, and LeJanty Wester are all in. No drama here. Wester lit up training camp and the preseason, earning his spot outright. Wallace was re-signed for a reason, and he delivered. Hopkins brings veteran poise. This unit is deep, fast, and more experienced than it's been in years. The tight end room looks exactly how you'd expect. Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, and Charlie Kolar are in. Patrick Ricard remains as the fullback. The big news? Likely avoids the injured reserve list. That's huge. Had they placed him there, he would have missed the first 4 weeks, an absolute gauntlet of a schedule. This signals confidence in his recovery, and even if he doesn't suit up week 1, he should be available early in the season. Now the offensive line. This is where things start to feel a little shaky. The starters? Ronnie Stanley, Andrew Voorhees, Tyler Linderbaum, Daniel Falale, and Roger Rosengarten. Voorhees was a standout during preseason, and there's real excitement to finally see him in regular season action. But the depth? That's where concern creeps in. Carson Vincent, Ben Cleveland, Corey Bullock, and Joseph Noteboom round out the group, bringing the total to 9 linemen. Not terrible, but not exactly overflowing with reliable reserves either, especially if injuries pop up, as they often do. Defensively, the interior line looks tough. Justin Matabike leads the way, backed by Travis Jones, John Jenkins, Broderick Washington, and Anyas Peebles. Some wondered if Jenkins might miss out, especially since he was absent at practice, but he made the cut and the team clearly expects him to be ready for week 1. Edge rushers, Odefoa, Kyle Van Noy, Malakam, Tavius Robinson, and David Ojabo are in. Like we said earlier, Ojabo may be on borrowed time. Adissa Isaac's return could shake this group up in a big way. But for now, Ojabo gets one more shot to prove why he was a second-round pick. At inside linebacker, we got a bit of a surprise. The team kept 5, Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen, Trenton Simpson, Jay Higgins, and Jake Hummel. Higgins, an undrafted free agent out of Iowa, has been a standout all preseason, earning his roster spot the hard way. His instincts, tackling ability, and energy are just off the charts. Hummel, meanwhile, is mostly a special teams piece. Now to one of the deepest, youngest, and most exciting groups on the roster, defensive backs. The Ravens are carrying 10 DBs, Nate Wiggins, Chidobe Awuzie, Kyle Hamilton, Sanusi Kane, Jair Alexander, Malachi Starks, T.J. Tampa, Ruben Lowery, Kean Martin, and Marlon Humphrey. That list includes 2 undrafted free agents, Martin and Lowery, who absolutely earned their spots. They balled out in camp and preseason, and it's hard not to root for them. This is a deep group with high ceilings, and Hamilton remains the versatile weapon that makes everything go. Specialists, as expected, Tyler Loop at kicker, Jordan Stout punting, and Nick Moore snapping. There was a brief kicker battle, but once John Harbaugh waived John Haggerty weeks ago, Loop was the guy. So where's the controversy? Well, let's talk about the cuts. Or was his time in Baltimore simply up? Let's unpack what this really means moving forward. Jalen Armour-Davis wasn't just a fringe player. He was once seen as a potential cornerstone for the secondary. A third-round pick with the kind of physical profile you dream of at cornerback, tall, long, and fast. But injuries, inconsistency, and a growing wave of young talent at DB made it hard for him to hold his ground. The arrival of Nate Wiggins and T.J. Tampa alone raised the bar significantly. Add in the stunning emergence of undrafted rookies Kean Martin and Ruben Lowery, and suddenly that once promising roster spot started looking like a luxury the Ravens couldn't afford to keep. Now the question is, where does he go from here? Will another team take a chance on his upside? Or could the Ravens still find a way to bring him back via the practice squad if he clears waivers? Either way, that door to being a long-term Raven may have just closed. And it's a move that sends a clear message. This team is going younger, faster, and tougher. And speaking of younger and faster, how about those undrafted free agents? 3 of them cracked this 53-man roster. Jay Higgins, Kean Martin, and Ruben Lowery. That's no small feat all summer long. They were grinding against veterans and draft picks, some with more accolades, more tape, and more expectations. But every single one of them earned it the hard way. Higgins has looked like a tackling machine, smart and instinctive. Martin and Lowery made plays all over the field in the preseason, and when it came time for the coaches to make decisions, these guys simply made it impossible to cut them. It's a testament to the Ravens scouting department and their ability to identify real talent that fits Baltimore's physical, high IQ defensive identity. Now let's shift the spotlight back to the offense, specifically the wide receivers, because we need to talk about LeJandre Wester. If there's one breakout name from camp and preseason, it's him. His story isn't as flashy as a first-round pick or a free agent superstar, but what he did was dominate quietly and consistently. Every time the ball came his way, Wester made something happen. Separation, contested catches, yards after the catch, you name it. He made the 53 not because someone else failed, but because he flat out earned it. That kind of rise changes the dynamic of this receiver room. Now that the Ravens have a receiving core that includes Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Walker, Tylan Wallace, and Wester, they've got a deep and versatile group. The mix of speed, experience, and size is something we haven't seen in years. And that's not just good news for Lamar Jackson, it's dangerous for opposing defenses. But let's not pretend it's all sunshine and roses. Depth on the offensive line is still a concern. While Ronnie Stanley and Tyler Linderbaum are reliable starters, and there's real optimism around Andrew Voorhees finally getting to show what he can do in regular season action, the backups like Carson Vincent and Joseph Noteboom haven't shown enough to inspire full confidence. If injuries hit, and let's be real, they always do, this unit could be tested early. And if they can't hold up, it affects the entire offense, from Derrick Henry's running lanes to Lamar's protection. This is one of the few spots on the roster that still feels fragile. Defensively, the inside linebacker group is solid, but don't overlook Jake Hummel's role. While he might not see much action on defense, his value on special teams could be huge, especially early in the season when the margins are razor thin. It's those